Hi, I'm Camilla.
And I'm Kang, and we are
the
FI
FI
Resellers.
And we have a what sold video for you of 2 weeks of sales. So we're going to share our best sales from the past 2 weeks and tell you about our numbers and tell you what is helping our business so much right now. Hint, it's VENDOO who's sponsoring this video. And so we hope that you'll stay tuned all the way to the end because we are going to answer one of your questions at the end and give you an update on our investments. So here we have a pair of Babolat shoes. These are tennis shoes. Babolat is a really nice tennis brand. And so when we saw these, we saw that they still had the tag on them and we know the brand Babolat. So we looked them up. We picked these up at Desert Industries, DI. And when we saw them on the shoe shelf, we were like, okay, we gotta get them because they still have the tag on them and Babolat is a great brand, but they don't have the insoles. So they did lower the value a little bit, but people can buy their own insoles, that way it's, fit to them, all of that. And so these sold for $50 on Poshmark, and they sold outright, not an offer or anything like that. So a really great sale sold within a week, which is awesome. We love to see it. We love to see quick sales, especially high dollar quick sales. That's like the trifecta. Okay, so we sold 2 pairs of Sorel boots today. Kind of weird that they both sold on the same day. But we'll talk about the kids ones first, and then we'll talk about the adult ones next. So these are a pair of Sorel Lurie boots. They are kid size, and I picked these up at Family Thrift Outlet. They had a ton of Sorel boots one day. I think I picked up 5 maybe, and I think I even left some behind that were not in very good condition. I was basically racing another guy who was also picking up all the boots, so I, cut him off on one of the lanes and got the rest of them. But these sold for $30 on Facebook Marketplace, so a great sale there. Really happy with this. They sold full price, someone just placed an order, which is great. I love when that happens, and it's the perfect season for these boots, so I'm happy to get them gone so that I don't have them come spring. So next we have some women's Sorel boots. These are the Snow Lion winter boots, and they are missing the laces. You can see that, and I know that in the listing, so the buyer knows that. But they are still, pretty functional. You can just buy new laces. It's, not a big deal. And these sold for $40 on Poshmark, so obviously the adult ones will go for a little bit more than the kids ones, but really happy with this sale. One thing that we're really focused on right now is functional items. Those seem to be doing really well for us right now. So I would say, that's what we're going to do going into this winter, just focusing on things that people need rather than things that they just want.
Here's Johnny.
So I sold these 2 Johnny were blouses, and they were both pretty damaged. So this purple one was more damaged than this red one, but I picked them up anyway. I did see the damage on the purple one. I did not see the damage on the red one when I bought them from the bins, but we sold damaged Johnny Was before, so I wasn't too worried about it. This purple one sold for $17 plus shipping on it. And we messaged the buyer, made sure that they saw all of the flaws, and they said that they were just happy to have a piece by this brand. They usually, it's out of their price range. And honestly, that's something that we love about reselling, is being able to offer an item in someone's price range that might be, out of their price range new. I know that's a big reason why I shop secondhand, so I'm happy to provide that for someone else. And then this red one sold for $40.20. That included shipping, and this one just has like a little bleach stain and a few small holes, so it's definitely more wearable than the other one. And this is a dress, and both of these were in really good sizes, so I was kind of sad that they were both damaged. It would have been so much nicer if they had been in really good condition. So it just goes to show you that even damaged items can sell. So if you do pick up damaged items from the thrift store by accident, you can recoup at least some of that money. So really excited for these sales, happy to send them out, and it was fun to get some Johnny Was when I went back to the bins for the first time in such a long time.
All right, a few interesting things about the Stetson hat. Now, Stetson is definitely a bowler brand, something to be on the lookout for sure. Now, this one is heavily damaged. We definitely put a lot of details into the description to make sure that the buyer knows that it's heavily damaged. And we're going to sell this for $30 on Facebook Marketplace as a local pickup. Now, it's really interesting because of how damaged it is. We thought maybe we could clean it up a little bit, but it is like beyond repair. So it's still pretty good though. It's Beaver 4X. Now, the more X's there are, the better it is. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to material like Beaver or even those other more expensive materials. So definitely make sure that you are looking this up, even if it's damaged. You know, it comes down to the name Stetson, and it comes down to the quality as well. And we will see if the guy wants to buy this after all on Facebook Marketplace. He offered 30. We decided that we'll meet him and see if he wants it for 30. I will not negotiate any more than that. But if he doesn't want it, then I'm just going to come home and I'm going to ship it on Poshmark, because we have an offer on Poshmark currently for $40. And after fees, it's $32 on Poshmark. So it's like, you know, $30 cash on Facebook Marketplace. We got this offer first, so we're going to honor it. But essentially, it's going to be a guaranteed sale, because on Poshmark, as long as you disclose all of this stuff, you should be pretty well protected. So we're pretty confident about the sale. We'll let you know how it goes.
We did end up selling that Stetson hat, local pickup. The guy actually was late, and then I had to go home because I didn't want to wait 20 minutes at the pickup spot. And then it was just like a whole mess. Facebook Marketplace local pickup can be a mess, but obviously this one, we wanted to honor that first offer, and we already told him that we would sell it to him. But also I didn't want to have to sell it on Poshmark and have to pack it up, because shipping a hat that wide of a brim can be really difficult to find a box for it and all that. So I didn't want to mess with it. So I'm glad to have sold it on Facebook Marketplace.
And with a cash pickup, no fees. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So we sold this vintage Dooney and Burke bag, and it's a bucket bag. And when I was looking at this, I found that it was somewhat rare, which is awesome because this is not in that great of a condition. It's definitely well loved. You know, lots of spots on the leather, just where someone had this and definitely used it. But it sold for $50 plus shipping. So I was so excited to sell this. This has been in our death pile for so long. It was one of our last things that we listed from our death pile challenge, you know, clearing out the whole thing. But I'm really glad that I didn't just donate it thinking, oh, well, you know, it's in such bad shape, no one's going to want it. Someone did, and I cannot believe that they paid $50, but they did, and I hope that this person likes it and is able to restore it. I am always amazed at other people's skills at restoring items, so hopefully the buyer will be able to get this and bring it back to its former glory.
I sold this golf bag. It's a standing bag. It has 7 dividers with the cover, and it's by Tommy Armour. I had to look this one up because it's, I guess, not widely known. Otherwise, I would have heard of it as a Bolo brand. But even lesser known brands like these can fetch a decent price. The buyer paid $70 for this, so 30 some odd dollars plus shipping, and that was a lot in shipping as well. So overall, not a bad flip. Now, as far as picking this up goes, the bag is in good condition, the brand wasn't too bad, and there were a lot of other clubs that came with it, so I split those up, and this is basically one of the better things to go. So really happy with the sale, and we're gonna pack it up in this Frankenbox, which I had to cut up a little bit, but let me show you that it fits pretty much perfectly. So there it is with a little bit of cutting and resizing and all of that. It's ready to go. It's really nice, nicely snug in there. I'm going to put a little bit of paper, craft paper and whatnot, just to make sure it's cushioned a little bit, but otherwise ready to go. Here we got a bundle of 3 that's sold on Poshmark. The buyer paid about $36 all in. And this one was $40 minus 15% for bundling these 3 items. So overall, pretty good. Otherwise, these 3 items aren't really all that great by themselves, but this is just one of the great things about Poshmark. First is this Tresca scarf that we got from Scott, the Cha-Ching King. So we don't have anything into this. And then we've got this Christian Dior tie. Pretty cool print, but I don't think that we're going to pick up any more ties by Christian Dior, even though it's a luxury brand and, you know, it's got a nice pattern and all, but it's just not selling. It doesn't have a great sell-through rate, so that one was kind of a mistake. And then lastly, this one is a pretty cool item. It's this really neat sweater with all these bears in this Christmas tree pyramid formation here, and it's just really neat. It's by the brand Nutcracker. Not that it's exactly a big bowl brand or anything, it's just that the pattern, the graphic was pretty neat, so we picked it up. Overall, not exactly something that we would pick up and sell, but together this is just something that Poshmark does well. It's easy to bundle these type of things together, and overall we can make a pretty good profit. Here's Johnny again.
So our last Johnny was from that haul that we had. That was my first time back at the bins, and this was a great sale. It sold for $90 plus shipping. This was a more recent Johnny Was piece, and it was in much better condition than the other two, and it just is very Johnny Was. So it has a lot of embroidery, got butterflies, and then it's leopard print, so it's just like, it's one of a kind, that's for sure. And I got a ton of offers. I was really holding out for upwards of 90 to 95 was the offer that I was sending out, but I decided to accept because this buyer had a lot of good feedback and, you know, left good feedback for people. So I thought, you know, okay, she seems like a good buyer. So I accepted her offer of $90, and I'm really happy with this. That, you know, was just a really nice start to returning to the bins, and Johnny Was is our favorite brand to find, and so whenever we find it at the bins, it means it's going to be a good day.
All right, we got a cashmere sweater for you right here, and you know what we say about cashmere. Cashmere equals cashmere, and so this one was a really good one, and it sold for $8. Okay, so the reason why it sold for $8 plus shipping, and the reason why it sold for $8 is because we made a mistake sending out an offer on eBay. So the mantra goes, this is not the first mistake we've ever made, and it certainly won't be the last. So that's just the lesson learned here. The other thing we just wanted to say is that anything cashmere that is in great condition is something worth looking at, but this brand, Ballantine, is definitely something to be on the lookout for. We think that this probably could have sold for about $40. We were trying to send out an offer for $38, but missed the 3 on the 38, and then it sold for $8. And we're going to honor that because it was our mistake, but at the end of the day, it's not too bad considering we only got $2 into it. We still make a profit, and so there's a lesson to be learned about not beating yourself up on mistakes. We do want to tell you when we make mistakes, and especially when there's something to be said about the item. So 100% pure cashmere, no holes, pretty good size. It's basically a large, and it just says 44 inches. So overall, not great, but a really nice piece. And what we're kind of hoping is going to happen is that the buyer doesn't fit it and then they have to send it back. So we shall see. But overall, be on the lookout.
So we hope that you enjoyed those sales. It's kind of nice having 2 weeks so you get a little bit more information just in, you know, one shot. And we sold all 3 of those Johnny Was pieces. So if you want to check out the haul where I picked those up, you can check it out up here. That was such a fun haul back at the bins for the first time. So here are our numbers from the past 2 weeks. So we sold 61 items for a gross revenue of $1,682.60. We had a cost of goods of $145.54. On Poshmark, we sold 22 items for $301.26. On eBay, we sold 31 items for $544.43. On Facebook, we sold 8 items for $145.61. So in total, our net profit for the past 2 weeks was $991.30, which is really close to, you know, we had previously been doing $500 per week, so $1,000 for 2 weeks, and so we're just about $9 away, which is kind of a bummer.
It's kind of typical for us these past few months, I guess. And you know, the interesting thing is that we had such a great week all the way up until like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then everything grinded to a halt. The thing is, I think people were waiting and kind of saving up money, and they probably just wanted to spend their money on Black Friday and Black Friday shopping and all of that. So pretty interesting. You know, we really thought that we were going to get over $1,000 these past 2 weeks, but it just was really so bad that it cut off like midweek this week. So Oh,
Yeah, but the nice thing about these past 2 weeks, we've been using VENDOO, so our amount of time that we're spending on our business and able to cross-list to these different platforms has been really low. So it's not like we're losing out on much by not making that much money, because really we're only spending like an hour, maybe a day on our business. And so it's really nice to be able to cross-list super quickly, and especially with weeks like this where, you know, earlier in the week when we had lots of sales, it's so easy to go into VENDOO and we can mark an item as sold, and then it delists from the other platforms, which makes it easy. That was a question that we got on one of our last videos that listed me about, you know, being worried about deleting items from different platforms, and VENDOO makes it really easy because they can do that for you when you mark an item as sold. And then all of your numbers are in there. So we've been using those analytics to kind of look and see. That's always really helpful. You know us, we're always like, know your numbers, you know, always all about that. So that's one thing that we love about VENDOO. We can see a snapshot of what's going on in our business, the trends, you know, how things are changing, because in clothing and shoe reselling, you know, things are always changing, trends and all of that, the fashion, and we're not fashionable. So it's hard for us to keep up with it, but the data is there, so we can just look at the data and go from that.
Yeah, we're good with the numbers, less so with the fashion.
Yeah.
But it all kind of is combined, so we're getting better at all of these things. You all know that we have been listening to eBay, Poshmark, and Facebook Marketplace for the longest time. The use of VENDOO is that we've been taking our time back and really being able to save a lot of time, and that's what we've been really talking about in terms of financial independence and all that lately anyway. It's really important that we take back our time and really use it so that we can be more efficient elsewhere, and this is just one of the ways that we're super efficient in listing, delisting, and keeping track of our numbers.
Yeah, we've basically got like a timer, and the timer being however long the baby naps. And so I'm like racing against the clock of like, who will finish first? I'm always trying to finish before her so that, you know, I'm done with my work and I can just be there with her and, you know, watch her crawl around or whatever she's doing, you know, and not be distracted, you know, working.
Those are a lot of the great features of VENDOO. Obviously, there are a ton of other features. We'd love for you to check out VENDOO with our link in the description. Please try it for free. If you like it, then great. We would love it if you continue using them. We could talk about VENDOO with you. Otherwise, it's a no strings attached. Just try it for free. If you don't like it, don't tell us about it. But, you know, it's there for you if you want to use it. So link in the description. Okay, now it's time for our segment on building wealth. This is where we update you on our total stock market index experiment. Each week, we put a little bit of our profits from our reselling into this experiment, and it's still down, and we know that it's down, still just doing what we need to do to keep putting money into it while it's on sale, right? So this is just something that we will continue to do and keep you updated. So keep up with us every 2 weeks. We have been doing this long term. We continue to have a long term mindset, and hopefully you're confident like we are in just putting this money aside for our future, and then we are going to let it accumulate over a span of like 30, 40 years. So keep up with us and we'll show you how it goes every 2 weeks. Now, the other part of our segment, we answer a question from the community. And this question comes from Christy, found it. She is one of our great friends on YouTube and on Instagram, and it's so fun to keep up with her. Lately, she went on a long trip where she did this traveling and thrifting. So if you're interested in things like that, she's a great person to follow, because that's what we want to do eventually. We love the model that she does. She basically sends everything to eBliss, as far as I know, as far as I understand how she does it, traveling and then thrifting and then sending it to eBliss. That's something that we've talked about. That's literally the business model that we do. So Christy is a great inspiration to us. She asked us the question of what inspired you to work towards FIRE? So financial independence, retire early. Do you have a goal retirement age? So for me, you have to go back to this instance where a friend recommended the Choose FI podcast to me, and I started listening to it. I started understanding investment a little more, and this was when they were pretty early in their podcast, and I listened to all of their episodes. I got kind of hooked on it, and then basically started drinking the Kool-Aid for this financial independence, retire early movement. And so it was kind of like a reversal of inspiration where I thought I can do that too. It really isn't all that complicated. And so that's partially what inspired this channel and then our message to you is that it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be something that everyone strives for, and the financial independence community can be something that the reselling community can kind of, join in on, because there are a lot of people who do reselling and stuff that have been guests on the financial independence podcast that we've listened to. So it's all really interesting. It's all kind of interrelated in that way. And then for the second question, I think that we will retire in our 40s. That's a goal. Obviously, life doesn't exactly work that way. 10 years from now is a really long time to project out, but that's a goal. We're very goals based. We're very oriented on goals. Our numbers are actually on track for something like that. But even if I don't retire, it's not really about retiring and not doing anything. It's about retiring so that we have the option of doing other things. Like if, for example, we wanted to do eBay and reselling full time and not have to worry about the full-time job and having to go into a workplace 9 to 5 currently was what I'm doing, then we don't have to, right? It's about the independence of getting to choose, of work optional, right? Having to go into a job and then really grinding it out. My grind on the 9 to 5 is kind of strictly stopping in about 10 or 12 years. So that's kind of my plan for that particular aspect of our journey, so that I can at least be with our daughter and make sure that I'm, at least seeing her through her teenage years and all that, those years that are really important, that, really can change the perspective of a child and their parents. To me, that's a really pivotal time. So that's the time that I've been trying to plan all this out. So we'll see. I mean, that's kind of the long-term goal. So that's my half of the answer. I'll let Camilla tell you the other half.
So Kang was the one who had talked to me about the FIRE movement. And for me, it was really about like wanting to spend time with my family. I'd always wanted to stay home and raise my kids when I became a mom. And so that was really important to me. And I figured that being financially independent, and having those goals and having that savings would help us do that, would enable me to stay home. And that was true. And that was also part of when I started my business, started reselling. That was part of it, was that I wanted something that I could scale up or scale down, as I wanted to work more, wanted to work less. And that has worked out really nicely for me. I do kind of already feel like I'm retired. It was funny when I was leaving my full-time job when I was pregnant, people were like, oh, so someone said to me, like, what are you going to do in your retirement? And it was funny because, I'm young, and they were really just joking with me. But it kind of felt like that, where I was sort of retiring, and doing part-time work. And so I kind of feel like I could keep this level of work forever. And so I don't really see myself like maybe at one point retiring and not doing this anymore, or not feeling like I need to have these certain goals, have to make a certain amount of money, and just do it just for fun. And my goal is that King retires in 10 years so that he can be home with us and have the life that I currently have, but together.
And the other thing to note is that we had talked about this financial independence stuff before we got married, and we had talked about reselling as this part-time thing when we had kids. We talked so much about our future goals that we knew even before we got pregnant and had a baby that we wanted to do something like this as part of flexibility. That's how much we planned. These are the goals that we have, and some of it has come to fruition. We've also had to kind of back down on some of our other goals, but essentially we have a lot of goals that we set and we try to reach them because again, we're goal-oriented people. So that's just something that we hope you consider as well. As far as retirement and financial goals go, you need to set goals. So it's beginning with the end in mind, and then you can be proactive about it, and then you can really do the things that you need to, which is putting first things first, right? So put those things first as priorities just to get to your goals, and you can get there so quickly. Or much quicker than I think you would if you didn't have a plan. So anyway, that's building wealth for you. Thank you so much, Chrissy, for the great question. We really like talking about this type of stuff. It really energizes us that hopefully we inspire you some way, so that you can also think about these things.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below how your sales have been. Did you kind of feel that slowdown right around Thanksgiving? Let us know down in the comments. We'd love to chat with you there. And we would love to answer any questions you have about VENDOO. And we just hope that your business can grow. That's always our hope. We always want to encourage you in that. And we think that VENDOO would be helpful in that. And so we would love to just chat with you down in the comments about VENDOO as well. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That shows YouTube that people like this video. Obviously, that's literally what the button means. But that means that it will show it to more people, and we love meeting new people. And if you are new and you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. We would love to have you as part of our YouTube community.
Yeah, keep that passion burning, y'all. Every 2 weeks, come and join us. This is going to be so much better for us. We are going to put out better videos, and we're going to do more different styles of videos.
Yeah,
hopefully.
not just the same old, you know?
Yeah. We're going to try to mix it up, do some challenges between us, stuff like that. Hauls, more hauls, and we're just going to get back into a better rhythm. So we're always rooting for you. We hope that you come back, and we'll see you later.
Bye.